Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Foxx Den Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Now, here are your hosts, Kellen, Garrett, Gannon, and coming to you from the Foxx Den, their dad, Todd Foxx.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 145th episode of the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Along with my two oldest sons, Kellen and Garrett. I was going to say something pretty nasty right then, but I didn't. I held back. I am Todd Foxx, and we are the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can follow us on or subscribe to us on YouTube. Get a bunch of YouTube. We are rolling on YouTube right now. But we've got a lot to talk about today. We want to talk about the OU dominance of, who was it? Maine?
Maine.
Yeah, Maine. Okay. The Maine, I don't know what they are. Bears.
Wherever they're located, I don't even know.
They're located in Maine. Anyway, and then we'll discuss the upcoming Oklahoma game against the Mizzou Tigers here shortly. But anyway, let's get into it. Finally, of course, you're going to expect that. Finally, you're going to see a game like this, Oklahoma, with a dominant performance against Maine, which had to be 59-14 was the final. I will tell you that I picked 52-9, so I was the closest of any of us, and I was the only one that said we would score in the 50s. But tell me how you're feeling right now as an OU fan. We've got 5 wins. We got 3 games left. We get one more win, and we're bowl eligible. Which I'll be honest with you, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not about the bowl game for me in the what is it, the length of time that we've had a bowl game in a row. It's more about the streak. I'm looking for practices because this team needs as much practice time as they can get. But let's hear it. Talk about Maine. What happened? What are your thoughts right now as an OU fan?
Obviously, it's not a game you can put a whole lot of stock into. I mean, similar to the beginning of the year against Temple, like we wanted to say we looked really good, but you just couldn't say because it's such a lower tier opponent. At the same time, like going into this game, like you mentioned, this is exactly what you wanted to see, especially for how the rest of the year has gone so far. Like you would still like to see a total dominance of a team like Maine. So glad that we got that. There were still, we didn't look like we get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. I think we only had 3 sacks, only a couple turnovers. Like that's still not ideal, but holding them to 14, I know that's a little bit more than I think probably any of us predicted. But I think I said it last week. This game is solely just you need to treat it as a confidence booster for every single player on that team, especially the quarterback and especially the offensive line. Just let them feel like they can actually beat their man one-on-one on the offensive line, and then Arnold making him feel like he can actually, have some receivers that can catch the freaking ball and then also make a pass. Because we've been saying it, we've seen it all year, that rollout whenever he makes it, that receiver on the sideline is there all the time. He's just been overthrowing it every single time. And so to see him complete that one is huge because I think that shows just the confidence level he has at that point of the game and hopefully for the rest of the year and other throws like it. So excited. I mean, obviously I feel better about the team than I did last week just because we got a win. I don't care who it's against. But I mean, still only 5-4, but yeah.
What you got, dog?
I mean, it was obviously a good game. It's what, like Gary said, what we should expect from a game like this, playing a team like that. But it was nice just seeing the team comfortable. Jackson Arnold taking some shots. Like I said, I wanted to see some long drives. And who was it? Who did he throw that to? Was it Hester?
JJ Hester, yeah.
90 yards.
That was a beautiful rollout, beautiful throw, beautiful catch and run. Like, I don't care who you're playing against. And then our running backs were just breaking tackles. And, like, I know it's not the top caliber team, but I don't care who you're playing. If you're out here breaking tackles and making plays, it looks good. It feels good. So hopefully it just gives us a little confidence, a little momentum to roll into the next few weeks and play some competitive football.
No, I agree. They did a lot of things in this game that I was hoping to see. I know we talked about it early in the year against Temple, Houston, Tulane. These are the kind of things we wanted to see that we never saw. Now, granted, I think any one of those other three teams smoked Maine as well. But it's a confidence booster, I think. It shows you, like, if we can just get some sort of a hole or offensive from an offensive lineman, like somebody like a Javante Barnes can do. Now, I don't think he'd be able to roll for 200 yards against like a Tennessee or South Carolina, anything like that. But he can at least move and he can run the football. And we were unable to do that in any other game this season. So we finally were able to see that and able to see Jackson Arnold a little bit more comfortable. The very first series, I know we did we go for it on fourth down and miss it, or did we punt? I can't remember. But that very first series, and then Maine got the ball and went straight down the field and scored. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But you start thinking about it and you think, okay, most likely what happened is Maine had their first 15 plays scripted or whatever it might be, and those are some of the best plays they had. And then after that, I mean, we basically, stopped them other than that last touchdown, that fourth quarter. It was a great game. What's that?
Well, I was going to say that last drive was just a perfect pass and a crazy
it was a
catch.
really good pass.
So,
really good pass. Sure. And I don't know, I didn't hear if anybody was injured in this game. So you want to come out of that game injury-free, like no significant injury. The biggest concern is at this point is we've got the 3 games left. Again, like I said, I want to win all of them, obviously. But, I want to at least get one more so we're bowl eligible, just so the fact that we can get even more practice time. I'm sure there'll be some players leaving in between that time, between the end of the season and the bowl game, and that's understandable for some of them. But we've got to get more practice time with this team. Anything else stick out to you from this game against Maine?
Well, to mention, like you said, Javante popping off and everything, I don't even think he's our best running back, honestly.
I think Taylor Tatum is.
I would agree. The biggest thing, and I mentioned it last week, is obviously ball security, which when you're not good at that, that's going to just put you down the roster. I completely agree. I think Taylor Tatum's the best running back for receiving, breaking tackles, and just speed in general. And I think Sawcheck's probably, I would think, our second best, but again, nobody knows what in the world's going on with him. That being said, Javante is really good, especially freshman year. He was kind of that lead guy over Sawcheck that we were really excited to see. But no, it's super exciting to see. I know it was our most rushing yards in 4 years, so that's different than what we're used to. Like, it's, I guess, maybe more boring just because you're not seeing the ball fly around the air as much, but choose the clock and gets that defense tired. So,
yeah, what's funny is Maine won the time of possession. They had 30 minutes and 16 seconds. But we obviously dominated the game, 665 total yards. That's something we took for granted for so many years. And then you have a year like this, it's been rough, and you finally get to see it again. I understand it's Maine, no disrespect, but would you? Obviously, you would rather get that kind of production versus struggling. If you're struggling against a team like this, and you're like, oh my goodness, we had 6 penalties for 65 yards, and 284 yards passing. I know Hawkins came in was that the third quarter, fourth quarter? I know it was fourth for sure. I can't remember if he came in, and he, again, just goes back and starts to run. And those may be the design of the play. I don't know, but a little frustrating there, in my opinion.
With this game, too, we saw some freshman offensive linemen get some snaps, which I think is key. I would have to go back and watch and see how they did, but Eddie Pierre-Louis, who in this class is the fastest offensive lineman in the country. So there's a lot of hope that with just his athletic ability, he can turn into something. He got 37 snaps. Isaiah Autry-Drent, I believe he's a tackle. He got 26. And then Daniel Akinkunmi, I think I'm saying that right, or close. He's the guy
Better
from
me.
England that
Yeah,
came
yeah.
from the NFL program over there. He got 8 snaps. So that's big. And I know David Stone got a huge dump. He had the most snaps from our defensive tackle position. And like you mentioned, he got his first sack. So that's exciting. I'm so curious on the reasoning on why he hasn't played a whole lot yet. But, I'm sure we'll find out. And then Danny Okoye, a Tulsa native, had 7 snaps as well. So, and then some other guys. But, yeah.
No, it's
exciting. Exciting that we got some new faces in there to hopefully see if they can compete for a starting job for the rest of the year, honestly.
No, I think it was fantastic to get those guys playing time. Here's a question I have for you guys. So, Big 12, we didn't have this type of game in the middle of the season or toward, in the third, 3/4 of the way through the season. I know at first I was concerned about it. I remember when we first became members of the SEC, I'm like, man, I don't know if I like that. But tell me what your thoughts are of having a team like this during this time of year playing a Maine in what, late October, early November timeframe, whatever it was. What are your thoughts? Dog, what do you think?
I mean, I don't mind it. It's not no disrespect to Maine, but you can count it as a similar feeling to like a bye week of you can rest a couple players if you need, maybe try out some things. But if you have some guys that are, kind of sore or have some lingering injuries, go ahead and rest them, do some other things. And can just it can be a reset, confidence builder. But I just think for injury purposes, it can be beneficial.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, I like it. It's different. I mean, there's not a lot of other conferences that are doing it of just playing a nobody midway through the season. And then you have some teams every once in a while that'll stack you. I think a couple years ago, LSU played Texas mid-year. So, you can make that game a big game mid-season out of conference. But like Kellen just mentioned, I think it's almost better than a bye week because you get the actual game time and playing time for some of those younger players. And also still being able to have the opportunity to rest some key guys because you shouldn't lose that game even with your third stringers. So,
no, I agree 100%. Because how many is it? 3? You can play 3 full games. You can't play the 4th, or is it 4?
You can't play the 5.
Okay.
Well, don't say full. If you take one snap in a single game, that counts as a game.
Yeah, right. And that's what I mean, though. But I mean, you can take a snap in 4 different games and still keep your red shirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So that's another kind of thing that's in a sense cool about it, because the fact that it's later on in the season, and there's some of those players hadn't even played yet. And they honestly could play the next 3 games if need be or wanted to, and they could still red shirt. Now, obviously, I don't think they'd be able to play in a bowl game, hypothetically, if we were able to get it. But most likely there's some of them that may not even play against Missouri, Alabama, or LSU. So I do like that as well. And to Kellen's point, sit some people, get some rest on some of these players. And then it's also a time to, build confidence. It's also a time to maybe try out a few things that you haven't been able to try out just yet, just to give the next 3 opponents something to watch. And I don't know. It was impressive. Again, it should have been impressive, but it was a good game. I know there was a lot of talk of bad weather. I know they had to move that game up. It was originally scheduled at 1:30 maybe, and it moved up to 11 o'clock kickoff. I heard there was quite a few people still there. I did not attend because I did not want to go. That's the first time I haven't been to a home game since. I don't know. When you guys went to OU OSU a few years back, I did not go to that one either because I know Gannon was in town, and Callie and Garrett went. But it felt weird watching on TV, but it was good. I just didn't want to get there just in case it did start pouring down and some bad weather come. Of course, we've had some bad weather the last several days here in Oklahoma City, and this morning tornado warnings as well. But that's for another story. But anyway, it was a great game to play, great game to win. I'm all for these games. The only thing is I'm hearing most likely what's going to happen. They'll continue these type of things for another year or two or three or whatever it is. But then eventually it's probably going to go to playing, because do we play 8 games now, SEC? I think they're going to eventually go to 9 because of TV contracts, money. It'll be a money type of thing. So that's going to be unfortunate. Oh, I guess nobody has anything else to say about it, huh? Well,
letting you rant,
Let me rant. Okay, well, let's OU Missouri. This game we've been looking forward to. We've been talking a lot of smack all year long against the Missouri Tigers. I know, Garrett, you live in Missouri, and there's probably not a whole lot of Missouri fans. That's what's funny. They talk this big game. They beat their chest, and they kind of stink usually, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts? How do you think this is going to go? You got a 6-2 Missouri Tiger team against a 5-4 Oklahoma. 2-2 in conference is what Missouri is. OU's obviously 1-4. Missouri's favored by 2, and the over/under in this game is 42.5. One thing I did notice, but I think it's the last 4 games, maybe, or is it all 4 games that they played? Yeah, they played 4 games in conference. I'm talking about Missouri. They've only scored 61 points, so that's an average of 15.5 points a game. How's it going to happen? How's it going to turn out? What are your thoughts?
I think our defense stuffs them and our offense rolls.
Yeah.
I apparently was muted, and I honestly don't know how long I was. So
Who muted you? I think
great
it's Kellen.
question.
Kellen's like, you know what? I'm gonna mute this guy.
I don't think I have that kind of power.
It's going to be big determining on if their quarterback plays, because the last report was really like late last week of Eli Drinkwitz saying he's going to return this season, but he didn't say when. Nobody knows when. We don't know if it's against Oklahoma. We don't know if it's later in the year. So if he doesn't play, I think it's a pretty easy path to success. If he does play, I think it's a little bit harder, but I still think we'll, find a way to win it. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be a huge determining factor on if their starting quarterback plays. And again, to go back to what you said, they've not scored a whole lot of points against SEC. They've beaten Murray State, nobody. Buffalo, nobody. Barely beat Boston College. Barely beat Vanderbilt. Lost to A&M. They actually got smoked by them. Beat Massachusetts, the worst team in the country. And got smoked by Alabama. So they have not beat a single decent team this season. And I think that's just funny, and that goes along with all the hype. Like, whenever you're number 10 of the country going into the season and you're 6-2 mid-year and unranked, that just shows, how bad you really are and how little the AP team thinks of you. So they're not good. They're not, neither are we. I'm not saying that we're anything special. I'm just saying that they're not good either. But they have not beat anybody. And the ones they have beaten, some of them have not been impressive.
Right. Did he play against Alabama when they got smoked?
No, he did not.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, they would have lost to Auburn. They were losing to Auburn because he got injured mid-game. He went to the hospital, came back from the hospital, got back in the game, led them back to a win, and then did not play last week. Last week.
Okay. Kellen, how do you think this game is going to turn out?
Score-wise?
Well, just whatever, yeah, score-wise or whatever you think.
I think our defense does a pretty good job containing him. Obviously, we always give up some big plays, so they're going to put points on the board. I think our defense gets some turnovers, some crucial turnovers, and puts our offense in good position. I think maybe we just kind of let Jackson Arnold do his thing, and he makes some plays, and I think we win 26-20.
Okay. So they had a week off, right? So they have a week to prepare for us. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, and also just really quick, apparently he did play against Bama. He just wasn't even their leading passer, so that's
Well, I was going to say,
why
I thought he came in for a little bit and he got hurt, is what I thought. So that's what I'm. It is what it is. I mean, I expect him to play. I expect him to play. I think they're going to do everything they can to give them the best chance to win. I just think OU. This is our best chance to have a victory.
and I think the team knows it.
3 games. And what'd you say? You think our team knows it?
I think they know it.
Oh yeah, I think they know it too, and I think this is going to be a time where we're going to get out there and we're going to get physical and we're going to play some ball. And I expect us to win. I have us down for a 23-20 victory this week. I'm hoping Oklahoma can pull it out. I'm not a fan of Mizzou. Never have been a fan of Mizzou. We live there, great place to live. Not in Springfield, but just not a biggest fan of the team. And there's some good friends of mine. I've got a few friends of mine that are Mizzou fans. Nothing against them, but I just don't think. I think this is a team that's never been relevant, and we've got a lot of smack talking that's been going on, and some of these kids are going to come back and post and let us have it if they win. They said, but they're going to have to wait. It's not going to happen.
We haven't heard anything this year because they're probably not super confident in their team. So I'm saying during the regular season. Exactly. Yeah. It was all preseason.
Ever since they started not doing too hot.
Yeah, they haven't looked very good at all. And
I mean, they've had the easiest schedule, one of the easiest schedules in the SEC this year. So that's why a lot of people had them super high. Not because they had such high expectations, but because, I mean, head to head, they really should have only lost 1 game so far.
Sure. No, I agree 100%. Did they beat Vanderbilt this year?
Barely. It was a field goal game. And Vanderbilt choked that game too. So, which, I mean, again, if Vanderbilt won that game, they'd have a good record on them. But,
and we don't have much to say so for ourselves either, because we haven't had the greatest of a season either. But I expect to see us back in this thing, and to win this game, we can run the football like we've talked before. I think that opens up so much for us. I just want to see this defense, we've said 1,000 times, be able to get some pressure on the quarterback. Hopefully, we will see that very soon this week. Anything else about the Mizzou Tigers?
My prediction is going to be Oklahoma 28-17. I think, just like Dad said, I think our team's going to have a different level of physicality, just knowing that we've got to come and win this game to lock up the bowl game, but also because, I mean, the next week you're inviting Bama, who has a lot to prove this year, and that game. And then the next week you got to go into Death Valley, which many people, obviously, for correct reasoning, would expect that to be one of the harder games to play. So,
100%.
And then I think just this last week is a lot of confidence. I'm not saying we're only going to win this game because we smoked Maine. I think as long as we won that game last week with a decent bit like we did, I would have predicted against a win against Mizzou. But 28-17. I think Arnold has a good mistake-free game, just consistent, and I think we get another 150, maybe 200 rushing yards on the ground.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, it's a 6:45 game, so I do know usually it's a little bit of a tougher place to play at night, at least. What does that field? Is it Ferret Field? Is that what it is? Do you know? I can't remember what that field is called from Missouri, but I just know that we've played up there before at night. I know Stoops years ago went for the riverboat gambler that he was. It was a field goal we were going for, but he faked field goal, touchdown. We obviously won the game. Then I think we went there sometime 10 years ago, or a little bit over, at a night game, and I'm pretty sure they beat us that time. But it's a good rivalry back from the Big 8 days, Big 12 days. I know I give Mizzou fans a hard time. I mean, there's just a few of them that I'm just not a fan of. People have like no teeth and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, it just drives me nuts. So anyway, Kellen? What do you think? Anything else about this game?
Oh, now
he's
Kellen's
on mute
muted.
now. That guy, man. Who's muting all these guys? I can't hear
It
you.
must be you. Must be.
I
you.
think it's got to be Dad.
Yeah.
Why would
he's
I
trying to
do
mess
that?
us-
I can't do it.
Trying to make us look bad, but I mean, I lived in Missouri for
Yeah,
13,
trying to make
14
us look
years.
bad when he's got his hair looking like that. Like,
What's wrong with my hair? What's
Look
wrong
at
with my
it.
hair? Hey,
it's all slicked back.
I haven't had a haircut in about 6 or 7
You
weeks.
look like
Okay.
Yeah.
you work on cars.
Usually,
And
I
we
get
can
it-
tell. We can tell.
Yeah, whatever. I usually get it every 21 to 28 days, and I'm off this week, so I'm like, okay, I wasn't gonna get it towards the end of last week because I got a whole extra week of growing my hair out. Not nothing I'm trying to grow
You
it
think
out.
Mom wants to see that for a week?
Hey, dude, look at me, man. I'm a what do you call it? A gorgeous man.
Clown?
I don't know. Yeah, clown. Whatever. I think I look pretty good. It's not slick. Slick back would be this way. Just I don't know. You know,
I didn't say where it was slicked back. I just said it was
know.
slicked.
maybe I'll grow it a little longer. Maybe I don't know. Since you don't like it. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I guess I was just saying that I lived in Missouri for 13 to 14 years. Didn't meet a single Mizzou fan. They all wanted to talk a big talk over the offseason. Haven't heard a word from them since the season started. I'll keep talking. I don't care where Oklahoma's at. I'm going to keep talking. Mizzou sucks, and we're going to stop them.
Well, I remember. I think it was the first time we moved to Missouri. I think it was 2005 or 6. I don't remember. We just beaten them that weekend when I went into Springfield. What are you doing?
I got something to say when you're done.
All right, when you're done, okay. And and I was working at the Evil Empire at that point, and I remember I had do you guys remember that belt I had that had the OU?
Yeah, got the mark still on my butt cheeks.
Yeah, you shouldn't have been making fun of my hair. But anyway, I told her I started ripping on everybody in the morning meeting. The first one I was at, and then I remember my boss looking at me. He goes, "Nobody here cares about Missouri football." So he said it. Good old Britt Gardner.
Shout
What
out,
were you gonna
Brent.
say?
This is also, I think there's a lot
Yeah, right.
between the lines this year for this game for, again, guys like Caden Green who
Oh yeah.
dipped. I think our offensive line, obviously that's more of a hit on the offensive line and, that core just because that's what side of the ball he was on. But I think the defensive line is really going to be going at him.
You think
a
he
lot.
plays? Does he play?
Yeah, I would expect. I guess I'd have to check, but
I didn't think he was a starter any. I really don't. I don't
at
think he's a
Mizzou,
starter. Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think he's a starter.
I mean, he can play 4 different positions on the offensive line, so I would expect him to. But, and then another guy, I don't think he's played a whole lot this year, so I don't think it's going to be that big of an impact. But Williams Nwaneri, well, Weiss too, but that's not as big of a deal. But Williams Nwaneri, the number 1 recruit last year, who was, pretty much almost a lock to come to Oklahoma in the last minute, got offered a bag, and the whole deal with them being able to get paid while they were in high school if they went to an in-state school is what really solidified it for him. So
I remember that.
That's not going to have as much of an impact just because he was never on the team, didn't really know a lot of the players, I would imagine. But I mean, you're still going to sit there and try and prove, because this is a recruiting battle game as well.
No, I agree 100%. I completely forgot about him. I don't even know if he's playing either, to be honest with you. I know
he also has not. I know for a fact he doesn't play a whole lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. But I mean, I expect us to win. I expect us to have a good game, and I am looking forward to it. All right, got some questions for you. If you are good enough or not scared enough to answer anything. My question, first one would be, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a lifetime supply of your favorite food or a lifetime supply of your favorite beverage? Which one would you rather have? And what is that food and what is that beverage?
Food, because if I had a lifetime supply of Dr. Pepper, I'd drink more than I already drink, and that would not be a good situation for me. So,
what food would it be?
Probably burgers.
Okay.
Does it have to be from the same place every time?
No.
I have a burger story for after this. Actually, now that I think about it.
Go for it.
Well, look, Gary, go ahead.
Pa's just skipping
man.
right over me this whole
Everybody's-
episode. Like, sorry, I made fun of your hair. My gosh, but
You only wish you were.
yeah.
Remember back Garrett when he was had the little hair sticking up in the back before church
Always
making
looked
a
like
plate.
he just woke up from a fat nap.
Oh well, he was a little boy and it was anyway. Go ahead.
I'd probably go food, partly because it's more expensive, and I'd also go burgers.
Well, I already have a lifetime supply of water, so I can't.
Water costs.
That's
money.
all I drink. I drink water or
You
coffee.
get a lifetime supply of water. Does that help with the water bill on showers and all that?
I don't even know how much that even costs, and I would rather have.
Well, that's Ma. Ma
Coffee
kind of handles the money. So
I handle
Yeah,
the
we-
money,
we
but
know
I don't
Ma-
have any
yeah.
idea. I mean, I don't look at it and see all that kind of garbage. So whatever.
We know Ma pays all the bills. So.
what DPP, deep pockets Pa. He don't even check the bill. He just pays it.
Hey, I walk. Whatever. I walk by 20s that are on the ground. Anyway, what food would you have, Garrett? What would that lifetime supply of food be?
Well, if you go back about 30 seconds and you listen to what I said, I'd probably say burgers.
Burgers? I'd say chicken fried steak.
Kellen said the exact same thing, and you were like, "Yeah, what the crap?"
Because what you do is you always go off of what Kellen says.
Oh my god!
You're like, hey, you know what I mean? Hey, Kellen,
I'm
big brother, what do you think? Oh, I'm going to do the same thing.
yeah, yeah. In fact, I think I'm gonna move to Atlanta.
You better not.
The 5-star recruits would be happy to have you.
They probably would.
Oh, your flag football team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, huh?
How's your flag football team doing, by the way? Let's hear it. Everybody wants to
season's
know.
Over. We forfeited our last game because they rescheduled a rain game for 9 p.m. on Halloween, and
Jeez.
a lot of people didn't want to go. Our quarterback, it was his birthday, and he already had dinner plans. We didn't make the playoffs. I think next season we will, but we walked into the league not knowing the crazy. Being an athlete does not matter. You just got to know the rules. You can't jump if you're holding the ball. You can't drop your elbows too low because that looks like you're flag guarding. Like there's some crazy rules, but we did okay. We ended the season off hot, putting up a 1-possession game. I think the last 4 games in a row. So next season, we thought about starting right now, but with the holidays and all that, we figured we'll wait, start another season in January.
Nah, since you'll be staying here all December, in Oklahoma.
Yeah, me and my 9 days of PTO.
Well, my indoor volleyball league, just switched teams. Got a new game on Thursday. Me and Jason, back at it.
When did y'all start this?
Like the second week I moved back.
Jason plays?
Oh yeah,
Is he
Jason's like a renowned setter at this place.
Okay.
He was on my team. He was on my team the first week. Then he kicked me off to go with another team to kind of get better, and now I'm back.
Kicked you off like you were not good?
He just wanted to play competitive, and I was not there yet.
No. So I'm surprised. You're usually the quite the athlete, as the video I showed you guys earlier. Of course, that was probably more Gannon.
Yeah, I wasn't in it, so
I don't think you're in it. Oh, that's right.
middle child always getting overlooked.
Oh, wow. That's what happens.
Forgotten about.
Well, the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Garrett, Kellen, what were you going to say, Kellen?
I said who?
Who? Yeah. Kellen? Anyway, whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. Foxx Den Sports Podcast. I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in once again for our 145th episode. Man, it's 145, man. It's awesome. We'd love to talk about Oklahoma City Thunder being 6-0, but Garrett doesn't like talking about that stuff. The Yankees lost in the World Series. Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott's out. They stink. They're 4-5, and they're garbage. But hey,
4 and 5. I think we're 3 and 6.
Is it 3 and 6? I got no idea. I didn't watch hardly any of the game yesterday. All I did was watch Red Zone because they stink. Anyway, Foxx Den Sports Podcast. We'd like to thank all of our viewers, our listeners. Stay on later and see where all you can subscribe and listen to our beautiful podcast. I always want to remind everybody that iron sharpens iron. Please stay safe. Be savage and not average. And remember to join the Skulk as well as, Kellen, what's the other one?
Remember to stay thirsty, my friends.
Stay thirsty. Drink a lot of that water, folks. Stay thirsty. And until next time, Garrett, take it away, Garrett.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Missouri stinks. So does Texas.
Thank you for listening to the Foxx Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Foxx Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Foxx Den Sports and on Facebook at Foxx Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Foxx Den Sports.